Hey everyone, we're TowawayCouple. I'm Tom, the driver.
And I'm Bunny, and I'm always prepared.
You are always prepared. Except for this last trip, you didn't bring the granola bars.
I didn't bring nothing. I was like,
Bunny goes, we should bring granola bars, we should bring this, bring that, bring the ice chest, and did not bring none of it.
You know what?
So, are you prepared?
I forgot.
I'm going to demote you.
I forgot. You know, we were gone. We did not pull any trailers for over 3 weeks, and we come back, and I'm like...
No, a month.
A month.
So...
I'm not any tanner than I was, but...
Right. So, this video is about...
being prepared when you come into Elkhart.
Don't come to Elkhart broke.
No.
So, what we've seen on many instances is where... people get hired on by a company, they get their orientation date, they know they need some equipment, and I got an eyelash in my eye. Do I have an eyelash? They come in and they bring so much money because they budget in their head. Hotel, $50, $52. Mm-hmm. They can eat nothing but SpaghettiOs out of a can. They aren't going to need any more money except for those mud flaps at Dan's Hitch.
Right, and everybody's got the thing that, as soon as I get through orientation, I'm going to get dispatched and I'm going to start making money.
Yes. So, a couple of things that we have seen. We have seen where people have come in thinking they had all the correct equipment to find out they didn't, right. And they needed to spend a little additional time and money because obviously the shop wasn't prepared, and therefore it took 2 days to outfit the truck versus 1 day. And instead of 1 day in a hotel, now they're in the hotel 2 days. They think they're going to eat SpaghettiOs or something, but they end up eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner,
right,
because
right.
It's just easier.
We've seen, just this winter, we've seen people on their way down into Elkhart and are already here, and weather permitting, their orientation was canceled for that day.
Yes.
So then they were stuck for an extra 2 days until they could get orientation due to snow.
Right. Now, some people are all about sleeping in their truck, but when it's 20 degrees out there or 10 degrees out there, when you're not prepared for that type of environment, it's harder than you think.
And especially people just coming in from orientation that don't even have a bed set up in the back of their truck.
Right.
Or don't have any of those options or nice things that we all seasoned drivers have already set up in our trucks.
Correct. Now, Bunny was making a comment about, we were talking to a couple transporters and they got done with orientation. They were being dispatched, but there was a problem with their data card, whether it was EFS or ComData, whatever, but that's how you get paid by these companies. Mm-hmm. And there was an issue, and they couldn't get the money on the card, and they didn't have any money to buy fuel or anything.
They had come into Elkhart completely on E. Were expected to get their orientation done and get back on the road. Well, lo and behold, they had to wait another day.
Correct.
Before that money got loaded, and so they were stuck.
Well, I'll give you another example where you might need money. A lot of people come into Dan's Hitch, and I say Dan's Hitch. There are other places. We're just fans of Dan's Hitch, so we don't get paid by them. We don't get a commission, but we just think their quality is exceptional. One of the things Dan's Hitch does when they come in for an auxiliary fuel tank, let's just say the auxiliary fuel tank is $1,000. It may be less, maybe more. I'm just using a round number. So somebody comes in with $1,000, and then Dan's Hitch puts the fuel tank in, but before they finish, they send you to a station to put at least 20 to 30 gallons of fuel, depending on the size of the fuel tank. Well, let's just do the math at $5 a gallon.
Right now.
Mm-hmm. Just rounding it to $5 a gallon. It may or may not be. But did they equate for an extra $100 for fuel? So now it's $1,100.
I know we didn't.
We weren't told that when our fuel tank was going to go in that we would be sent out to put fuel in, because they need to check for leaks and everything else. So, yeah, you're going to have to fill it up, but you currently at that very moment in life, you do not have diesel discounts because you haven't gone through orientation, most likely. So therefore, you have no money on your company card, EFS or ComData. So that's how you get your diesel discounts. So now you're going paying retail pricing.
Right. And you got to think the fuel prices in this area are a lot higher than anywhere else if you're going to come in.
Okay, so people ask, why? We were told fuel prices in Indiana used to be some of the lowest, but when they got rid of corporate tax, they had to get their money somewhere else, so they put tax on all the fuel, and Indiana is one of the highest in fuel versus getting out of Indiana.
Correct.
So we come into Indiana, we get fuel before we come into Indiana. We got enough fuel to get us out of Indiana somewhere where we know we can get cheaper fuel. So with that said, I know coming in, you may not have that option if you have a 30-gallon tank or a 20-gallon tank.
Right. So basically, you know, what we're telling you is to make sure that you have enough money in your pocket for anything that
Well, I'm going to throw out the
happen.
zinger. I'm going to throw out the big zinger.
Uh-oh.
So somebody from Florida. Florida is a 2-day or 18-hour solid straight drive. Mm-hmm. So figure 2 days. We always stop in Tennessee, near Nashville on the way back from Orlando. Now, if you're farther down Miami, it's even farther. So they come all the way up to orientation, and they got denied at orientation. They did all their pre-screening. They did everything. And then when they got to orientation, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the truck, the equipment, or them, or anything. We didn't hear the whole story. We just know that they decided not to finalize their contracts and not lease on. They didn't have enough money to make it all the way back down to Florida with fuel because they expected to come in and get a dispatch to put money on their car to put fuel in their truck. I knew of that one instance. How many more do I not know of? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how common of a practice that is.
And like you say, anything can happen. I mean, you can roll in here, and we know one gentleman right now that has already done his first dispatch, and now he has a major issue on his truck.
Yeah.
Okay, right now you can't get truck parts prevalent like you could before in the past.
Now, there is a guy that we talked to, and he had a gas truck, so he doesn't get diesel discounts. But he was told that they would lease him on. Everything was good to go. We met him over at Dan's Hitch. He was getting his truck outfitted long before he was getting it leased on. Goes back home. He gets everything ready. And all of a sudden, they decided not to lease him on. He was able to find another company.
Right. So like I said, there's so many different instances on why you're going to need extra cash when you roll in here for orientation.
Well, let's use that for instance. I don't mean to cut you off on that, but he didn't get leased on. A lot of people that might not get leased on with, let's just say you come over and you're trying to lease on with one of the big 3, big 5 or whatever they are, and one doesn't lease you on, and you start calling the other ones, and they say, yeah, we can get you an orientation, but it's going to be 2 days or a week. Are you prepared to sit in Indiana for a whole week? Are you going to go home for 4 days and come back? I don't know. So that has happened too.
Right, because you got to think you're going to have to go through the same thing with that new company as you were the one that was already leased. You're going to have to drug test, and I mean you've at least hopefully have already had your
DOT physical.
Yeah, so you can send all that over. But we're talking a day or two to get all your paperwork back in order.
Or a week.
And hopefully they have openings in orientation.
Yep. So just what Bunny was just saying at the end there was basically being prepared. I wouldn't even know how much to put in your pocket to bring out here. Because I don't know your circumstance. You might be 100% broke and you got enough in life to get this started, and that's how you're going to start. But you may, if you have any resources, if you're in that situation, try to borrow enough money from a family or something to get you out here, because you can always pay them right back with that money if you don't use it. But if you need it, you may
Yeah.
really need it.
Right, right. And it depends on the situation, the time of the year. The company that we're currently with, they wouldn't let us go over a certain amount of miles on our first dispatch. We had to do a short run and
A
come
test
back.
run. That wasn't very much money on the comm data card.
No, it was barely enough to get there and come back and just
Put a little fuel in the truck.
Right, and then the next one we could dispatch a big one.
Yeah.
I've seen people with the same company dispatch a Washington run right away. So it just depends on the time, and you just never know exactly how much you're going to need or how much you're going to have.
So the knowledge we're giving you is just from talking to a lot of different people in the time we've been doing this. Do not come into this with no money to get back home. That's all we're saying.
Right.
Or to stay an extra day, like Bunny said. In the wintertime, you have orientation in January. We've seen them cancel orientation and push it out a day or even 2 days, depending on how much snow there is.
Well, or like today, for instance, say you went through orientation today. Winds are going to pick up to 30 miles an hour. You can't drive in that. So, therefore, you're going to be down at night.
Yep.
So, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So, all right, don't come broke.
Have at least enough money to get home or to stay an extra couple nights if that's needed.
And we hope this video helps somebody.
Absolutely, and I'm sure it will.
Yep. Check out our website, TowawayCouple.com. We have links to a lot of stuff we personally use. And we do have a Facebook group, RV Transport for New People. Mm-hmm. It's a great resource because not only do we have a lot of new people joining every day, we have a lot of people that have just gotten started, so all that stuff is fresh in their heads. And we have people in our group that have been doing it 5, 10, 15 years. Me and Bunny are only at 2 years. We're not know-it-alls. We don't know as much in this learn as you go business, so we rely on a lot of those people. So definitely join our Facebook group.
Right. So I think that's about it.
That's it. So what are we going to do?
We're going to see you down the road.
We're going to see you down the road.